Hey, Cynthia. What's up? I'm doing a spontaneous live. I was on TML's and they were wrapping up, so I the party can move over here if it wants. Oh, let me get it on post it on the socials. Yeah, lots of good conversation tonight. And I was on earlier too, and more good conversation. Machine teamed up with Hank, I guess, and they did a really good panel tonight. Oh, hang on. I'm here. I'm just this is I just started. This is very spontaneous. I usually schedule them in advance. So I'm still doing all my setup. What am I trying to do? All right. Okay, one more place and I'll be good. Oh my God, I have all this. Sorry, I have all the social media to catch up on. Um, focus. Don't look at all these notifications all around you. All right, there we go. Panel's open. Come on up. Hey, Angeline, what's up? Haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? Cynthia, what's going
What
on? You're up late too, huh? Or are you just, or is it early for
knows
you?
you over here? What you got going on?
Not much. I was on TML's and I'm not
How
ready
was
to
it?
call it a night, so
You are?
mm-mm, I wasn't.
Oh, yeah, me either. I was up. I would actually tried to go to bed about 2 hours and 36 minutes ago, and I still haven't fallen asleep.
Oh wow. Is it
I
just
know.
insomnia?
No, I got some you saw my stream today
I saw.
about
Oh, your bed stuff. I saw you show your bedroom and your makeup.
Oh, I talked about how I was leaving my church.
Yes.
Did you see the part where I talked about I put a post up?
I don't remember.
I put this post up and said if a pastor's causing division in a church, should he lead the church, right? And I kind of just threw it out there just for random, and like 8 people reached out to me and told me reasons of why they left too. So it's kind of been weird. It's having like a weird effect, and it's like nobody's ever had the courage to say what I'm saying. And like Jeff, it was even one of the kids. It was even a kid that was in youth that reached
Oh
out to me
wow.
and
This
talked to
was
me.
like in their Facebook group or something, social media group. So the
Well, they
post
all
was
just
for the
reached out
audience.
to me. Uh-huh.
It was for the church members. They were the
Well, no, it
audience.
was for it was Facebook, and it wasn't our group. It was just my post.
Oh, so these are people like were on your page and they
Right, but
saw it.
they were part of the church at one point in time, and I
Oh,
just
okay.
thought they just left just to leave church,
So
but
now,
they
now the word's out. Your thoughts are out there now because it's going to ripple through the grapevine.
right, and everybody's like, "We never had the courage to say anything." They're like, "We can't believe you're doing this," and I'm like, "Oh, wow." So,
It's going to be like real life panel drama.
it's gonna be like real life panel drama.
Hopefully, these channels have helped. This is like boot camp training.
I even said I'm gonna treat it like a panel. I'm gonna ask questions, not even so much because I know I can't go in there because
Oh,
I'm gonna go ahead and have a meeting and ask if he'd be interested in leaving the church.
you're going to go ask him to leave? Excuse
Yeah,
me. Can I make an appointment with you to have a
yeah,
talk
I am. And
about you
so,
no longer being at this church?
yeah, I am. And because I was just kind of doing it and thinking, but now I can go with like, look, 8 people reached out to me and said you were the reason. Like,
Are
is this
you
just going to continue to allow you to be the reason, or what are you going
Did
to
you
do?
talk about what the issue act was? Do we know that part?
No, I didn't. Two of them emailed me what their issue was. One of them said that they'll meet with me in person, and then I'm supposed to meet with another one next Sunday. Well, I'm supposed to go to her church that she's at now.
So this yours was like a generic. There's something about the pastor of the church, but you didn't
Right, it
even
was
give
just a
specific issues,
generic.
and other people started coming on just based on that. They started to come
Yes,
forth to you.
and other people started
Wow.
coming out talking about, other reasons, like, they were just asking, "Why would a fire go out? Maybe the pastor should, ask himself," but then other people in the church either commented, and then 2 called me, and then 3 sent, private messages.
Ooh, sounds like a
Drama.
yeah mutiny revolution.
No, I don't think so. It's just like, how sometimes when you garden and there's like weeds and
Well,
dirt
but
and
yeah, but if the weed is the leader at the top, to me that moves over into revolution.
well, maybe it's not the leader, maybe it's his mind, or maybe he's not even aware of it, because apparently if all these other people left and I never knew about it as being the church meet person and never knowing why, maybe nobody's ever really told him. Oh God, hey,
Would
oh,
you be open to if he were made aware of it and became part
mhm,
of a solution, or did he cross
yeah.
some kind of line that there's no going back from?
No, if he was a part of the solution. I mean, at some point in time, we all need an agitator in our life. I thought about
Oh
that
yeah,
earlier.
the
I
trickster
thought about
energy.
that earlier, and you do need an agitator. And because this is a man, the pastor of my church, I can't be an agitator like I want to be on the panel, right? Well, I can't be there, but like, what the fuck is your problem, man?
Why
So I
not?
because I
Is
wouldn't
it
get
like
my message true. I wouldn't be able, like, it would just turn him off. Like, he would just stop listening to me.
oh okay.
Yeah, and so I want this message to really get through because it's coming from a loving place, even if it might be a hard message to hear.
Just tell him that what you just said right there.
All right.
That one little
Just I have
phrase.
notes. I have notes and an
Oh, okay.
example, and I'm gonna have script. Oh, I have a plan. I have a plan. And I'm thinking about calling the committee. Because there's a committee at church and having a meeting with the whole committee.
Here's my experience with these situations. I always like to give the individual first the courtesy of being made aware, and instead of bringing in a whole group of people all at
Okay.
once before they're even aware. Then it feels more like an ambush.
Okay, you're right. That is a good point. I should just call him, or should I mute him in
I
person?
don't. Do y'all have that kind of relationship?
Yeah.
Would he Zoom with you or something?
But
Like do a
he's just
video
around the
call?
corner. I could just go
Oh,
to
well,
church.
like
I could,
yeah,
or his house. I could go pop
like
up
just
and
go
knock on
knock
his.
on.
Yeah.
We need to
Yo.
talk. Yeah,
Yeah.
however you do it, like whatever channel you feel comfortable with and that you think is he's gonna respond to. Like
Well, do you think it's better to do it in person or over the phone? And I'm
if it
starting to wonder if he's neurodivergent because excuse me, because sometimes, like, when we're walking in the hallway, like, it'll just be him and I, and he won't even speak to me, right? Like, he just has real bad social anxiety. So I
mhm.
can't be mad at him for that, but at the same time, should somebody be in that position that has that? But then I feel like, should I even question? I don't know. But anyways, a
Well,
meeting needs.
are you able to talk about what some of the things are? Like how big or little are they?
Oh, it's just being complacent. It's just being complacent on, the usual, I'll talk to certain people in the church and not other people, and it makes people feel unwelcome. A lot of times people are like, "Well, the church isn't about the pastor," which is absolutely true. You go there for the word, and I do love the people of my church, but I don't wanna be around a man that makes people feel unwelcome. Like, I question, what kinda leader are they?
So it's like social skills, just social stuff.
Social skills, and then there's a issue between 2 Sunday schools over something so basic, and rather than do a good conflict resolution, he just picked a side, and now it even turned into an argument in the Sunday school between the two classes. So that was another thing. Like, that's why I said when the pastor causes division, because instead of like realizing there was a problem and trying to find a solution, you took a side without even addressing the other side. You just automatically went to a
And he
side.
didn't say why. Like he didn't say why he
Nothing,
was.
nothing. And then
Yeah,
he
I
didn't
can.
even tell us. He told them to tell us. The pastor said. Hmm.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it could be like a combination of he's just not the right fit for that group socially, personality wise, and then
Right,
the leadership skills.
right. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not even telling you this like you're a horrible person. I'm just saying like
But
you're putting out more fires than you're lighting, and maybe you don't know it. And I'm hoping when I say that, that kind of shakes them a little.
yeah, something like that. I would just have like a little one on one with him, just kind of as one friend or
Okay.
human to another.
Okay. And I have been going there 12 years, and I don't want him to feel ambushed.
Because if he is neurodivergent, that is the stuff we're not aware of.
Is it?
Yeah, like at least the how we're coming across part, and some of them cannot be good with conflict. Um, and what was the other one? The taking the side thing. Yeah,
Mhm.
like
To
he.
the
But I don't
side,
know if like
talking.
priests get training in that, or like what his
Yeah, I don't know
qualifications or
either.
background is, or if that's part of being a priest, or they just picked it up on their own or not.
Mhm.
So I don't know how much to. But yeah, those are basic skills to me that a leader would need.
Very basic. But yeah, I guess that's just been going through my mind. So I was like, yeah,
But I also don't think that if like for which what you described that it's at the point of calling it a committee and leaving the church and all that without trying some intermediate.
well, I was just doing it because I didn't want him to feel attacked. I wanted him to feel like maybe if something I'm trying to convey, I'm not doing it well, that they could help me get it through because he does have a connection with them. Like that's his little core group. So I don't expect them to be like, oh yeah, and like all of us, explain our messages. It was more there for a middle person, so like a moderator, I guess we would call him.
But apparently it resonated with enough people that also had things about it.
Right.
So
Yeah. That was surprising to me. And it was surprising that nobody's ever kind of shook it up before. Like they just quietly went away.
you gonna talk to him tomorrow, today?
No, no, gosh, no. Gonna wait a couple of days. I need to
And
ponder.
possibly, probably, if you're noticing and other people are noticing, he may have heard this before. Like it may not even come as a surprise.
I believe that's might be the case.
But then if it's autism or something, it's how much that feedback even makes sense to him. Like how much he can even process it in the first place.
So
Well,
if you
if it
can't
does turn out
process it,
to,
if you can't process it, would you even know how to correct it? Would you even understand what needed to be corrected or how to correct it?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes we don't. People try to tell me things all the time and I have no idea what they're talking about. Or even if I understand what they're talking about, I can't pick up on the things they're basing it on. So it's not information that I'm going to be able to do anything with in the first place.
So if you were given that information, would you be able to correct it or would you remember it? Would
No,
it
I
be
have to see it for myself because then it just feels like other people leading me around telling me what to do. So
okay?
I need to understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it so that
Mm-hmm.
it can be so I can make autonomous choices about it and not have it just be blindly followed. It's like a blind person; they just have to trust the people around them to tell them stuff. And
Okay.
I've seen that too open to manipulation and
Mm-hmm.
exploitation for me to put that kind of trust in other people.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. If someone were to tell you about something that they saw in you, information could they give you that would help you understand? Like if I were to say every time something happens, you do this, or I've noticed when we're in the hallways together, you don't speak to me. Like what information could I give you?
For me,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff is helpful, like really concrete, specific facts that just lay out the facts. But I statements are also good. So, like if you tell me from your perspective, like the other day when I was walking, I tried to talk to you
Okay.
and you didn't respond, and so it it kind of grounds it in your point of view. So I'm listening to it as though you're telling me how you see things from your perspective instead of like you're this, you need to change this, you need to do this.
Got you. That's good. That's a good observation. I never would have thought about it like that.
Yeah, I statements are especially in conflict. If conflict's happening, you don't know any other way to de-escalate it. Just switching to I statements sometimes can help to like shift that
Okay.
direction a little bit.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That was
And
exactly
if
what.
it does turn out to be neurodivergence and y'all need help like figuring out what's what, just let me know.
I sure will. Yeah. Other than that, what you so well, how was TML's? And
It was good. It was he and Hank, him and Hank, and and I went up twice. Well, I didn't go up today, but I hung it on the comments. I went up the first time, and it was Pill Eater, that Benjamin guy. Oh, you mean the conversation with the preach? It
no.
see it depend. I don't know the guy. When she brought up neurodivergent, it makes me think that it could go either way. Like it's going to be very hard to predict.
Yeah. Oh, guess what? I had a dream that I was married to Hank last night. And I don't think I'm ever going to try to give Hank advice about his love life anymore because, and you know what's the
It came
craziest?
back in your dreams.
Yeah, you know what's the craziest part of the dream? The pastor's going to take an instant offense because he's been a pastor for years. He's going to feel like he knows more and probably he listens, but mostly he will get angry and argue just to shut her down. Oh, well, that's fine. I just want to tell him, I just want to make him aware of it. Like you are putting out more fires because out of all of, because I was already gathering my statistics, Jeff, and
Your notebook.
out of the 8 people that reached out to me, I asked them all, did you ever find another church? And none of them ever, they said, no, I just didn't even look. And only one said yes. So not only is he turning people away from our church, he's turning people away from a going to church altogether. Like they
Wow.
gave, so I don't know how truly aware of this he is. So I'm just going to put it out there. Now, if I give you that information and I walk out and you do nothing with it, someday you that will come back up to you. And but if you are given this information and do not and you make changes, then I'm okay with that. But yeah, that was startling to me. That was so startling to hear that.
To hear what?
To hear that they just love church altogether. Because I think
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of times when people think, "Oh, I love church," we in my mind, I thought, "Oh, well, they already found another church." I never realized they just stopped going.
For me though, oh, are those the churches, the
Mhm,
501c3s?
mhm.
It has what people are telling me has to make sense to me. So if they're telling me things they just don't like about me, but I don't necessarily have a problem with it, I don't
Right.
consider that anything I need to change. It has to be something that I share the same value system to where the thing they're telling me is something that I also value
Mhm.
and want to reflect. And I may not be aware I'm not doing it, etc. But most of the time, it's just other people's opinion of how I should be, how I should talk, how I should act, how
Mhm.
I should make people feel, what my emotions should be, etc. And that kind of stuff, I just take like any other stranger's opinion,
Yeah.
and I measure it against my sense of myself and what I want for myself. And so something he may do that too, especially leaders, like Moose said. You get that kind of arrogance of power.
Mhm. I have little faith in people and buildings. I put my faith in the source that I cannot see but feel. I understand that. I was talking about it earlier on my stream. It's just the community of having a place to go and talk about the Bible. It helps me understand it. I'm not always a person that can read something and get it. Having conversation about it helps me. So I need people to bounce off of.
I wonder if there's got to be YouTube Bible streams where they do that. Panels.
There are a couple and who like have you know stuff you can watch and follow along on, but not really the panels that you can engage. Like my Sunday school is like a panel. Like we have books and we'll do a lesson and we ask a question and we'll all just randomly talk about it, or we'll give our points of view or share an experience about it. Sometimes we can answer like 5 questions in a Sunday school. Sometimes we get in such a good conversation, we answer 2 questions. So it's a lot of just conversation. If I didn't find a church, Jeff, this was my backup plan.
The
I was
YouTube.
going to start going to AA meetings, to the ones that specialize in Bibles, and
Just
hang
come
out with
here.
them.
Just find a little group of. There's plenty of Christians here that could talk about the Bible with you.
Yeah, I was
Paul
gonna.
Unslave was talking about today. In fact, Moose. Um, that's what I want to talk about. I watched Paul Unslave today, and I've never said that I watched his stream, so I don't really know what his shtick is, but it seems like he's like an Old Testament preacher, and he gets himself worked up, like he has the same emotions I do, so it's that same emotion intensity, and then he starts like talking out of that emotion, like whatever comes to him. And he went to some really bizarre places today. He was appointed to lead God's army and separate the infidels from the heathens, and you could see him coming to this awareness as he was like doing this. I don't know, is it charismatic, enthusiastic, emotional, whatever that procedure he's
Mhm,
using is, which is not that different from mine. But with Moose, when he said that I can't see but feel, that's what he was doing. He was going off of, he was using the feelings. He wasn't like rationalizing or logic. He was using his feelings as a source of knowledge and awareness. And
mhm,
it was putting him in touch, or in his mind, it was putting him in touch with something greater than himself that his feelings were like attuning
mhm.
with. And
It
that's what was
became.
coming to him. And it was kind of insane.
Mhm.
But I've noticed other Christians, like, I wonder if he's an extreme version of what Christians do. Like, is that one of the basic epistemologies of Christianity? I'm very interested in what I saw today with Paul, and if other Christians use a similar process as him. Like Moose
I'm on a
talked about,
mission to
he can't
change people. Hey, I'm sorry. I
know
was.
to like what Moose said right here, a source that you can't see but feel.
Um. So for me, um, when people talk about God and people say, "Oh, I love God. I trust God. I'm working for God." I don't automatically assume we're talking about the same God.
Right.
So, what you kind of describe is what I kind of call the entertainment demon, like the entertainment spirit. Like you were saying, like the more he got into it, like he kind of started getting in this trance. He'll start looking
Yeah.
around and everything. Like the more he's really into it, it's like that comes over him and takes into it, and you just
Yes.
go
Yeah.
into the zone.
Yes.
You go into
Yes.
the zone. So
Yes. And
so I've always like act like when you hear people say, "Oh, there's this other person I have," or "My other person is this." Like Beyonce says, her alter ego is Sasha Fierce. Like there really is something else that
oh,
kind
I
of
didn't know
comes.
about Sasha Fierce. That's a real drag queen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is it?
And so, like,
You
God
know
is
what?
someone's alter ego.
That makes sense.
Oh, but Moose, he was channeling Yahweh. It was like
Right,
the angry
right.
God, the God that will smite, and he was channeling that God, and he was quoting Bible verses at Midbro went on today. He didn't know Paul. He just hopped on the panel, and Midbro could not say a single word. Paul kept shutting him down and preaching at him and quoting Bible verses at him, and he was like an Old Testament preacher. And so I didn't know if that was normal Paul, or if
Yeah,
I didn't
that's
know what
weird.
I was looking at. I had never seen anything like it on the panel
But
verse before.
yeah, so when people say God and then they get into that stance, I kind of understand. Okay, now I'm looking at something else. So then from there, I'm gonna look at their fruits, and I'm gonna see what they're really bringing. Are they bringing love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self
Wrath.
control? And so if it's not any of those things, I automatically assume we're not talking about the same God. Even if you are quoting scripture, we're still not talking about the same
That's
God.
interesting because the Greeks had different gods too. Like
Mhm.
Ares would be more like what I saw today, and yours is probably more like, I don't know, Aphrodite or something. So the idea that there's different emotional forces that people tap into that show up as these
Mhm.
mythological figures.
Yeah. Entertainment. A lot of entertainers will talk to you about that.
And you think that's all because he seemed like he was trying to convert, like, you could buy into it for a moment, and it was like a preacher, like Jerry Graham or like Billy Graham or something, how he speaks to the crowds, and you believe it when he's talking, like, wow,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I see, this could really, like,
So it's definitely something else that indwells you. I mean, that's truly what the Holy Spirit is. It's another spirit that indwells you. So why wouldn't, if you're not someone who follows God or believes in Jesus and don't have the Holy Spirit, why wouldn't something else indwell you? Why wouldn't we think that that couldn't happen?
it 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 definitely seemed something like that
That
descriptively,
sounds
and it
hot.
seemed to be coming off of the emotions, like it was the emotions that were allowing him access to it.
Hank, I was going to tell you before Reddington did, but yes, I had a dream about you last night, Hank.
And
Hey,
apparently
Cheryl.
you're not getting any more advice from her.
Yeah, I'm not giving you any more relationship advice. Sorry, Hank. I hope you ran with what little I did give you. Hey,
What's
Dennison.
up, Denizen?
Greetings.
How's it going? Do you sleep?
Not really. Every once in a while.
Okay. Is it just natural? Is that your natural pattern?
Sometimes I go through cycles.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yes, I believe it is, Reddington. You don't know.
But yeah, so that's what I've been up to
Angry
today.
woman.
I'm not angry.
Not
Y'all have
you.
never seen me angry. Even when y'all think I'm angry at Tarek, y'all have never seen me
I've
all of
seen you hold your own. I've seen you take care of yourself. I've seen that like fire come up in you, and I'm
Ah,
like, yes, yes,
Jeff, they don't know how Southern women are.
yeah, yeah.
They just don't know. Like, I don't know what's wrong with them. They think this is angry. Oh,
I
if
thought all women were like
I'm
Southern
flipping
women
shit.
until I moved out of the South, and then that's why I have so much problem with women because they're not like the women I grew up with. Southern women, I understand. It make perfect sense. They seem healthy.
Yeah. When I'm angry, I'm flipping shit.
Sub nudie.
Hmm?
I was saying hi to Nudie and I was calling Candor an angry woman.
Oh, not me. Okay, good.
I don't want to be married either. So
Why?
I don't want a
What
woman
he
living in
really
my
means
house.
is if he found the girl that can give him the intimacy that he needs, he would marry her in a second. But that he doesn't think he'll ever find that girl, so there's no point in trying to marry something less than that
I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
that's not unfair. It's just
or
not
something like
accurate.
that.
I don't
Hmm.
want to get married. I don't want a woman living in my house. Um, and I'm more than willing to find a woman who can meet me intellectually, emotionally, be my partner, my equal.
Mm-hmm.
Step on up.
Okay.
Yay.
So this is like the plan for in case you don't find that
What's his plan?
to not
Well,
get married.
my plan is my own. No, I don't want to get married. Period.
So even if you
I
found
don't.
the dream, it still wouldn't lead to marriage.
Correct.
Okay.
How old are you, Dennison?
I'm in my early 40s.
Early 40s? Do you think maybe I'll get married later? Maybe you're still just too young?
Yeah, maybe in my 50s.
I don't plan to get married till my 70s.
Yeah, I mean, I want to,
That's
just in case I change my mind on kids, I want to be alive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't. Mm-mm.
not getting married to your 70s is almost the same plan as not getting married. To me,
No, I have a couple of
pragmatically.
friends that got married in their 70s and their whole life changed. Like they went from like living in an apartment to
It's so hard to imagine what our
having a
psychologists
husband
would
that
do.
has a house that they now have a nice house and brand new car. And
And
when
they
their
met.
husband
These are like
dies, they keep the
they're all the
house. And
same age.
yeah,
Hey, April.
Well, good for them that they're still
yeah.
doing
And
it,
then they'll be
living.
like, "Look at the lingerie I bought for our honeymoon." And I'm always like, "What?"
I'm sure things will look very different then, but it's hard for me to picture now.
Yeah.
But probably then I'll be so grateful for it. I'll be like, yeah, I'll wear the underwear.
So,
I'm just so
and
happy
they
to be
do
alive and have another human being.
they're all retired, so they have all the time. They're always taking cruises together or going places together or going to see musicals. Like they're like a young couple that does old things until
Oh yeah, I know a couple like that. They go to disco. They don't go to the casino and they have disco night, and they go there in their
Mhm.
disco outfits, and they're like 80 years old on the dance floor, and they're having the
Yeah.
time of their life.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would take one of those definitely.
Yeah. So I think that by then you kind of figured out who you are and you're like, okay, all right, man, you had a good life, I had a good life, let's spend this last of it together
We
having a
are
best.
disco.
I want to tour the world from east to west, starting in Japan.
I know a couple that they're in their 83 and every year they take one international one international trip and one local trip to see each one of their grandchildren. Like one year it'll be this grandchild, the next year it'll be the next grandchild.
No, I definitely
Reddington,
don't feel bad,
this
Cheryl.
only works if you're around people who let the damn anger flow in the first place, especially men. I don't mind women trying to shut men's anger down because that's what they do. But when men do it to other men, that's the issue for me.
Cheryl might be able to get me to settle down.
Nice. Go, Cheryl, go. A husband who doesn't get it up. So since you don't put out anymore, it works. That's what I was thinking.
Perfect, man.
Too.
There's someone for everyone.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, oh.
Frank, there's hope.
You got to milk someone's assets when they die. I'm just saying.
Wow, are we making a love connection tonight? Right now?
I've seen it. But yeah. Anywho, I just wanted to
He
drop.
didn't say for how long though.
I will talk to you guys later. I'm sure I'll see you here in a couple of hours. If not, I'll see you on Discord. And we still got to figure out. I think we're on the last season of Ozarks now.
Oh, okay. How many are there?
There's going to be 14 in this season.
Oh, I mean, how many
Have
seasons?
you seen it before?
4. No,
Oh, okay.
no. No, not at all. I love that show. And then
I am ageist. I don't like kids, and I
Same.
have a ceiling too that I'm not going to date a 7-year-old. So I love old people though. I would hang out with old people all day long, probably
Yeah.
over any other group.
And I'm a
Just not hitting
heterosexual man, so like it's my destiny is to have a woman that's like 30 years my junior. That's one of the benefits you get from having to be a second class citizen your whole fucking life in this country.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, you guys have a good night. I'll see you later. Oh,
Take care.
Hank. Where was Hank? I wanted to, Hank, remind me next time I see you, remind me to tell you about my dream about you.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
didn't get the full details either, so
Yeah. So
we can all
we'll
look
save it for
forward to
another
it.
time.
All right. Well, I hope you get some rest, and I hope the conversation goes well. Let
All
us
right.
know.
I'll let y'all know. Bye.
Do you feel like it's subjectively second class because under the law, except for I will give you that men's law, like family court law, definitely is not equal under the law for men.
Right. Neither are reproductive rights,
Yeah.
economic rights,
Well, what economic
academic rights. Well, men aren't considered a minority. So, and then
Oh,
even in the legislation, which technically includes
yeah,
them, like,
I'm surprised that has not been challenged yet, civil rights wise.
right. And
Like,
if you're
what's
a
the
white
hold up,
man,
guys?
technically it's illegal to discriminate against you for your being a male and for being white, but
Yes,
we both know that's not how it works in society.
I know, but there needs to be a case where it can be like that can be clarified once and for all. Perfect. And I'm surprised that people on the men's side haven't found a case to push through. Moose.
Watching the Ozarks for brown people is like watching Cops for white people.
All of society is a LARP except for the people living out in the woods. They're not LARPing
I mean,
at all.
sure, but I'm LARPing it, you know.
Are you out in the woods?
No, not yet.
Oh, I didn't know you were one of them. But yeah, I guess.
I'm working on it, and I don't intend on having any women there. Candor.
Oh man, that's I'm not
Maybe a
gonna work
female
out.
cat.
That's what Machine was doing on his show. He was going over Kaczynski's manifesto.
Yeah, it's prophetic, isn't it?
I read it a few years ago, and I remember. I mean, agree with most of it. It was quite insightful, but I don't remember much about it. I don't remember the specifics. The part that resonated with me the most was the power process of taking charge of your own solutions.
April, I'm working on getting farther away from the city, and I have a plan for establishing some land. I'm still working on the funds for it.
How close to the city are you now?
Well, I actually moved closer to the city about 8 months ago, so
Oh,
I'm pretty
are you
close
like
now.
part of the city, the suburbs? Or are you like in a town close to a city?
I'm probably considered suburbs.
Okay, so you're influenced by the city.
Yeah, I'm almost basically back in city life as of
Oh,
recently.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That does sound like a nightmare. I got free 4 years ago, and I can't imagine going back. That would be hell.
It's a nice spot and a good situation for me though, so I barely notice, and I'm saving a lot of money, and it's a good temporary base of operations for me to execute my plan of getting the F out of Dodge.
Your mic's doing its thing again.
I'm back.
I wonder if I can. Brief intermission, folks. Technical difficulties. He's coming back.
Is that better?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Where is everybody? What day is it?
Um,
Thursday morning?
is today the debate? The Trump debate?
Yeah,
What time is that? Is it in the evening?
probably.
Oh.
CT's going to cover it, so I'm probably going to head over there.
I imagine the entire panelverse will probably be looking at it in some way. I expect it to dominate. Yeah, it'll be it. I don't normally like watching the debates, but I might peek in on this one just to get an impression of the two of them. I don't know if I want to sit and try to listen through it.
I'm going to watch it slightly for NASCAR effect. And just to get watch hours and make content out of it.
What does FNG mean? I'm old. Fucking good, fun.
I don't know. Fucking new guy is what FNG means to me.
Oh.
Debate is FNG.
Reddick 2, we're not that hip. You have to help us out here. Oh, right. I should have known, of course. Actually, I didn't know it because that's old. That's already out of circulation in my world. It was retro.
Fake
I didn't catch it.
Never. That one went. I missed that one.
Well, the panelverse is still doing its part to keep it alive. Even the kid, when I was teaching school, even the kids were saying that. That was back in the 2000s.
See, we got 7 people watching.
Well, let's see. We have 3 on Twitter, 10 on mine, 6 on yours. And hello, Denizen fans. Thank you, by the way. Y'all, you've been yielding some pretty cool people lately.
Get those likes up.
Oh,
don't be stingy with the likes. Is it messed up again?
No. Wait, yeah, a little bit. It came back. Oh, wow. Well,
April's...
she's what?
She's another beautiful woman, but she's taken already. I don't want to have to fight her husband, you know?
Oh. Is she marriage material?
Probably. I mean, I don't know. I just like her. I just think she's fun and she's pretty. And I think her husband is a subscriber too. So, Mr. April, don't hit me.
Oh. Well, April, you have a fan. Have you had relationships before?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, a few. I tried the domestic thing. Didn't really work out.
How long did you try it?
We kept trying to have some kind of a relationship on and off for like 4 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's plenty of time.
We probably spent like around a year in total living together, like actually living in the same apartment.
Did it work from the start? Like, did it not work from the start, or was there a point where you knew and you just kept trying anyway?
I think in retrospect, it never worked for me. I never even wanted it the day before it happened. You know.
I mean, you may just not be wired for that.
Yeah, I don't think I am. Well, I think it's hard for people to understand, you know, because I think most people are geared toward that, probably. cohabitation and all that 9 yards, the kids and all the things.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean everybody is.
And they just like Christians, so they want you to have what they have, right? Like they think that's the only thing that can make you happy. It's the only thing in the world that's worth anything. So like they're gonna force you to be happy. You know what I mean? By trying to get you to think exactly like them and want what they want.
I think that's part of. I forgot the name for it. There's a concept in sociology that describes that, but I've been tuning out most people and the mainstream in the world since I was probably 3 years old. Like I don't. It just surprises me how much it seems to affect people. It's so easy for me to tune that stuff out and do my own thing.
Yeah, it was not easy for me to do my own thing. The world hated it. Still does.
But like, yeah, me too. But that's like, nothing happens to me. They can hate it. It doesn't affect my life. Did you like? What was your like? What do I want to say? How did you grow up? Was it small town, big city, small? Like when you said that it made it hard for you to do your own thing.
Uh, Not a really big city, but yeah, metropolitan area, a capital city.
Because I know in small towns things stand out more. Like
No, it
certain
wasn't a small
environments
town.
make it harder and easier. But
Mm,
also, it sounds like you kind of did. You kind of do your own thing.
yeah, I have been my whole life. They just did not make it easy on me, though, Jeff.
You just had to fight to do it.
There's a lot of internal conflict as well because, like I didn't want to give up on other people.
Give up on their expectations of you or your like connection with them.
I think that's, I don't think it's uncommon for people to intertwine the two,
Uh,
especially if you're different, you know?
that's one of the things Machine was talking about today. Was it came out of that Kaczynski thing, the concept of over socialization, and it ties into the Dabrowski stuff that I explore on here. But I think for certain personalities, over socialization is a hindrance. It's not an asset. Like for a certain amount of society, it works. You can socialize them and they can live happy little lives and be productive. But it doesn't for everybody. And some of us outgrow that socialization. Or to become ourselves, we need to outgrow it one
Yeah.
way or the other.
Yeah, that's definitely me. And it would have been nice if that had been encouraged, you know. Instead, it was, you know, uh,
Would you have
like
gotten the same skill set you have now if it were made easier? Like, did some of that come from having to fight for it?
I mean, yes, but uh, I don't know. There's no way to tell. It didn't. I know for a fact that that's true, so I can't deny it. But if I were just going to give like a wishy washy woo woo feelings answer, the answer would be no. I would have been. I think I would have been better off actually. It wouldn't have been so hard for me to find my own way if
Mhm.
I hadn't been so pressured and even like confused and brainwashed by society into kind of thinking that there's something wrong with me if I don't want all the same things that everybody else wants.
And you talking like family, friends, school?
Yeah, and probably the media and getting employment was probably that was the first step toward me losing like 20, 30 years of my life
Oh,
was starting a
yeah.
career.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say for me too, some of it. Is it just like how people use shame and stuff to make you like you'd express something and they make you feel weird or
Yeah, shame is a big one. It's not real good motivator for me though. If people they just play favoritism, and they will deliberately make your life worse if they don't like you. And if you don't live their lifestyle, they don't like you. Like for example, my last job where I got fired, I had to fight, sometimes even yell and scream in order to get promotions, get more money, get certain privileges and responsibilities, certain authority. Some of it I needed to do my job, and I still had to fight for it. But if I had gone to the company gatherings and went to church with my boss, you know what I mean? Like it would have been a much different story. You know what I mean?
the social stuff.
Well, yeah, but it's because what it comes down to is just people liking you.
Yeah,
And when
because
you
on paper you would want to promote the person that could be best for the job because that's gonna increase the value of your company.
right,
And so it shouldn't matter if they go to the barbecues or not, but that's not how they make the decision. Like the barbecue
right,
stuff matters. And it
right.
can somehow override the fact that you might be the best person for the role.
And not only am I the guy that doesn't go to the barbecue, I'm the guy that says your barbecue's boring. I don't want to do it. I don't want to. I'm not getting married. I don't want kids. I don't
Oh,
like your food. I don't like eating at other people's houses. You know what I mean? I'm very, and I could have said this is like, it's one of the reasons why I think most of my friends are black too, is
yeah.
because
Oh my
they
God.
they don't do that shit. We just get each other.
Yeah, me too. Same here. And the emotions, it's not an issue for the black people at all.
Yeah,
But
they don't give a fuck.
no, I mean they have them too. But what oh hang on, I lost it. It'll come back. What did you just say about hanging out with black people? Why you do it?
Because they don't buy into that corporate bullshit. They don't take it personally when
Oh yeah, the
everybody's not a
bluntness. That's what I want
yeah,
to, like, especially with autistic and neurodivergent people, that bluntness. And that is an acquired taste, and I love it. Like when I find people that can be that direct and transparent and
right,
honest, that's the people I want to have around me. I would make a whole company with those people. But it
right.
is definitely a minority preference because most people, they don't know what to do with that. Their whole lives is not being that direct to make it, and it's two different like modes of being almost. I don't know how you mix them. What do I like, Neurojack? Oh, black people. Oh, I love them. Yeah. Yeah, I get along with black people better than white people. At least the white people up here. And I get along with men better than women. So, well, do you have a lot of black friends? Is that the solution?
I don't know if it's a lot, but like all my best friends are black.
Oh,
When
my
we think
friends are
about
black.
that,
Yeah, me too. My
but I
best friend
have
here is black. That's like the one
I have
person I
a
have up here.
I have a few friends on the internet that I consider real friends. They're not black, but all my friends in person, all my best friends in person are black.
Yeah, I get it. And you know what? Some of it might not be you because I struggle to make friends with middle class white people too.
No, I think it's them. I think I've lived my life as though it were me, and it's been detrimental. And the older I get, the more I realize it's them.
Does that make you feel better about?
A little bit, a little. It's a little bit. It helps you keep your sanity, so that you don't
It's
just
Denison. You are ahead of society.
yes,
You have graduated from most of this, and there's nothing in place for people like that. Like you have
right.
to go your own way and just figure it out. And at the same time, to survive, you have to interface with this system that is no longer even made for you.
Yep.
And I don't know the solution because society has never planned for us. We were never factored into division of society because everything's equality under the law and the system's made for one size fits all, and that's your system.
Ugh.
So I think if
This
you're
is
an
why so many
outlier, your
people
whole
drink and
life
shit.
is you have a different life path than the majority, and I
Yeah,
think part of it is just recognizing that.
yeah. And it took me a whole life. I wish I recognized it when I was a kid, and well realized it, right? Because there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path, as Morpheus would say. And so I kind of knew I was different, but I just really didn't want to. I had these principles about equality in my head, and I don't know, if like that. Maybe some people don't understand that, but I took that shit really seriously, so seriously, it held me back in some areas, and it made it difficult for me to be myself because I just thought like I should give equal weight to all kinds of different ideas, opinions, and etc. Instead of like, at least here's the thing. At least admit to yourself that whatever you are is the best thing for you. Like, so maybe not everybody. And I don't think I realized that until later on in life.
Once you did, was that enough? Was that all it took?
It's been some, it's
It's
I'm
hard
living
to
it
go
different.
back from that. Like once you have that aware, that's kind of like what gay people go through. Once they realize they're gay, there's no going back to what society was
Yeah, I
trying to
can't go
create for you
back.
before that.
I don't even know if I could get a job if I tried, and I used to be good at it.
I don't even want to try. I'm supposed to be trying right now, and I can't even motivate myself to go through the process. I already know I don't belong in it. It's not what I'm supposed to be doing. Why should I force myself to do it if I know already it's not me? Well, to pay the bills and survive is the answer, and that's the struggle. It's we don't struggle with the hard stuff. We struggle with the basic stuff, the mundane. Yeah, nude. If you're talking about the other day, if you're talking about like the modern workforce, yeah, it sucks. But I don't equate that with the entirety of our modern system and government and stuff because I can still exist within the political system and outside of the workforce. Um, it's a challenge and it's a struggle, but for me, those are two different things. So I agree with you about the modern day workforce. Unless you can find the positions that value people like us, it's not made for us, and it's very frustrating. And I can understand wanting to be out in the woods.
One little tiny thing too that I think is like everything for humans is I don't think my kids would have it as hard as me because my dad, he was born during the Great Depression, and my mother was a housewife. So like I, I had to figure it out. Like I got a whole value set downloaded from my parents and from society from a time that was long gone. And then I had to figure out stubbornly how to that everything I thought was wrong. If I started my kids off, I think they would know, hey, it's okay to go your own way, and even in a society that's restrictive, there, if you have intelligence and uh, a strong mind and some kind of ethos, regardless of what it is, you can carve out your own life in this world.
Yeah, yes. Same here, and you don't know it at the time because you think it's preparing you for normal life. And for me, it was get a good education, go to college, get a good career, you'll have a good salary, you'll have the home, the family, etc. And It is working for everybody I know, my family, my friends. It did not work for me. That life they prepared me for. That's not the life we're even in now. We're in this digital, chaotic universe that nobody is prepared for. And it did not work for me as an individual either. Exactly like you said. It wasn't, not that it was a lie, it was not the path for me. I knew that they had no way of knowing that. So I didn't think that they were deliberately lying to me and telling me something they knew not to be true. I just thought they were ignorant. They just didn't know what I needed.
Right.
And they were doing their best because they just assumed that I was like everybody else in society. And
I
for the
think you
people
might-
that were, it worked. So they had confirmation bias as well.
I think you might be a little bit more intelligent than I am too. Like I feel like if I had like maybe 5, 10 more IQ points, I'd have a lot less sentiment for something that got in my way. So there's like a there's a level of acceptance that I think I would presume comes from you being slightly more intelligent, but maybe it came from some kind of life experience or something.
Of acceptance of the status quo or
Yeah,
whatever.
and recognition of it. Like I tried to change it for 20 years before I even tried to go along with it. And then I went along with it and I was like, wait, I don't have to do either. I can do whatever I want. You know what I mean?
Well, part of it is that it worked for most people. It worked for my parents. It worked for my grandparents. It worked for my siblings. So I watched it work for everybody around me, and I didn't want to disrupt something that was like having a positive effect on people I cared about. I just knew that I was the exception, and I also knew that the whole system wasn't going to just change for me. And so I knew that I was in a unique situation that was different from everybody else, and I couldn't turn to them for the solution because they had no clue. They weren't in the situation, and so I had to, on my own, somehow find a path through it. And what helped me was getting to the right people that did understand and know what to do, and they were the ones that helped me through it. But on my own, if I had never found those people on my own, I don't even think I'd be here today. I don't think I would have figured it out on my own. I thought you did. I thought you lived overseas, Jack. Oh, the passport bro thing. Yeah, I remember now. See, I didn't feel hoodwinked. Here's another reason I didn't feel hoodwinked. I didn't listen to them in the first place. I never even took them. I tuned out school. When people were telling me stuff, it went in one ear and out the other because my light bulb comes on later anyway. And like a month or a year later, I might suddenly realize, oh, that's what the adults were trying to tell me when they said this, this, and this. So I knew not to pay too much attention. I did my own thing. Like I was in school, I read books mostly when the teacher was talking. Like I was never even receiving all of this indoctrination.
I barely participated in school and I still passed all the
me
way
too.
until I
It was boring.
got my father to sign me out of high school without even finishing. Talked him into it.
Or or it's working for like a lot of people. So let's assume, okay, you have, and Dabrowski uses the 60% figure. So let's assume for 2/3 it's working. So you have the 1/3 that it's not, and they recognize that, okay, I'm being told this, but it doesn't really match what's going on inside of me. There's some kind of discrepancy. So those people, maybe some of them recognize it but don't know how to get out of it, or they have fear. It's like that's another thing. I didn't have that herd instinct where I'm scared to be the gazelle on the edge of the herd. I never cared. I was always on the edge of the herd. And so if you have a fear of isolating from the herd or just not knowing, like there's the problem, but you don't know possible solutions. And so I can understand that would be a very distressful state to stay in. And I would say to those people in that state, if you are in it, reach out because there are ways out. And that's what helped me is not having to stay in that state for very long because I was shown other options.
Man, is that true? 90% of Americans have less than 5K.
I'm
Jesus.
not sure. Moose, where'd you get that? It's definitely true for me.
More than half of Americans.
For once, I'm in the middle of the curve.
So, more than half of Americans have less than 5K in savings. Here's why that's a problem.
But
The
I'll tell
average.
you why I have less than 5K. It's because the system that's set up to help people have that 5K does not work for me. I don't think it's a conspiracy. I don't think it's enslavement, oppression. I just know that I am one of the portion of Americans that it does not work for. But I don't have I am incapable of victim psychology. I'm not I there's no one to blame for it. I just know if I'm going to have the 5K, I have to be the one to do something about it. I can't look to the system. Now what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out how to use the system and make it work for me. But the system itself, as it's set up, is not working for me like it is for the people that it's made for, because they seem to just transition more or less smoothly through it. Yeah, pretty much. And that's not necessarily a bad thing for the people that want to do that or are wired to do that. I'm just not one of them. So if the economy is only that, then we have a problem. But it would be nice for the economy to find, and I think that's kind of what the market is for. If you can, you creatively come up with something to bring to the market, and then you take your chances. You see what the response is. Or you have this viewpoint where just give it up. It's rigged against you. That's like the Vegas casinos. I lived in Vegas for like 8 years, and I maybe gambled 50 cents the whole time. I knew not to bother gambling at these Vegas casinos. I had friends that worked in casinos. I had a friend that designed the chips for the video games, and he explained how they could adjust them to pay out exactly what they want at the right odds, etc. So I knew it was not like this random game of chance that it appeared to be. And so some people, I guess, see the system as the Vegas casino, and I see it more as the more or less free market. Oh, I didn't put the link. Here it is. I
I
do rent
love
a
chatting
place.
with Moose.
Yeah, I like Moose a
He's
lot.
one of my favorite people on all of YouTube to talk to.
Well, I was going to say the same thing, but I don't want him to have two people thinking that about him at the same time. That's we got to look out for his ego a little bit. Oh, it's not pinned. Okay, let me take care of that. And Dennis, you can drop it in your audience if you want.
Yeah, I have it pinned on mine.
Oh, okay. All right, there you go. Well, so you say, but I haven't seen anything yet. I haven't seen this
You
study. And
have
I
admitted.
can tell you right now, my standards of evidence are going to be way higher than yours.
One thing I actually appreciated about you when we would have our arguments, and I'm hoping you'll admit it outright, even the way I phrase it, is that you don't study these things. Like I noticed there's some things
They're
you're interested
boring.
in and you care exactly.
It's out of my
So
attention tunnel.
when it comes to things you're interested in, the ins and outs, the facts, the fake facts, the lies. You're perceptive, observant, intelligent, and you know how to discern information. Most people don't. That's why it's so weird that your positions on the government, because once you look into it, it's fucking obvious.
But that does come from looking into it. And when I look into it, I see a system that is more or less working. I don't see this system going up in flames and a swamp of corruption like everybody else. Mine is much more proportional, I think, to.
Well, I think it works and it's corrupt.
Yeah, but that's
fascism
that has
works.
been the norm, the governmental norm since I was born. So I don't
For
see
sure.
anything different that I haven't always seen when I look into it. I'm just not
Neither
having
do
the
I.
same reaction to it that everyone else is.
Perhaps.
Just like some people look at Israel and they see the end of the world, and I just see business as usual in the
Last
Middle East that
15
I've
years.
seen my whole life.
Yeah, same.
And another thing I was thinking about the other day is I take this for granted, but I study Western culture, so I have this entire map, like geography, that I can place our present moment. This has happened so many times before in history, so you have this space-time kind of map that I can put our present moment against and kind of evaluate it in proportion to the whole of Western culture or Western history or sometimes even world history compared to now. And different
It's
areas around the
better.
globe, different cultures around the globe too. So I'm referencing it against different points than I think other people are that are seeing it from a more present day perspective.
Well, some people think life was better, like 100 years ago, 2,000 years ago, whatever. That's I can't make that argument because that's not my argument. So I can't steel man that. I'm just grossly aware of how fucked up and corrupt this current system is, and even though, like, even with that being true, we're still doing better than we were before, and we'll be doing better 50 years from now as well.
And better than any other place, in my opinion, at least for the way I'm built. This is the country I belong in for sure.
How America comes through this will determine that. Generally speaking, I would agree with you, but we have a good chance of um, having our quality of life lowered significantly with this global migration crisis.
And even like I'm not as black pilled as you are, but even stuff like I did a few streams on how the diversity, equity, inclusion department is now embedded in the state government, and there's these trainings on implicit bias that are required and stuff. I don't think that belongs in the government. I don't think that is good for society. I want that shit out of there. I don't necessarily think it's evil or corrupt. I think it's ignorance. I think there is a political agenda to some of it, like some attempts to gain power through some of it. But so even when I encounter stuff like that, I don't have this like same Wagnerian reaction that a lot of people seem to be having. Oh, no, Jack, that was me being a dingbat. I forgot I could grab it off of YouTube. I was on StreamYard. Let me get it.
Yeah, I don't think we're doing worse than ever, or that the world is ending.
I don't think we're corrupt beyond repair either. Like we just need to get different people in there. That's
I
it.
think we're in an
And
exploitive
either we'll
system.
put in new forms of corruption, or we'll reduce some of the existing corruption. Oh God, you want me to play David Icke? Is this gonna
Does he
is
still
this
believe
gonna
in
hurt or
reptiles?
help my channel?
How long is it?
I'm still trying to see if I can even pull it up because a lot of times on Insta, it wants me to sign in to see stuff, and I don't have an account.
Yeah.
There you go. Hello, hello. Oh, you bring in the sunshine.
There he is.
You do look like you just woke up. What time is it there?
Bright and shiny.
It's
Feeling
Almost
good,
5
folks.
a.m.
Yep.
yeah. You look
Almost
like
time
you
to hop
came
on the
right out of the
motorcycle.
bed.
Came right off the couch. I
You
wasn't
sleep on the
sleeping on the
couch?
couch. No.
Oh,
If I wake up early, I get out of the room because
oh, I see.
I'll sit on my phone and you know if you're sleeping, you don't want to roll over and be like, whoa, what the
Oh
fuck is
yeah,
that,
that would
right?
be weird to be awake and just stay in the bedroom.
Yeah. So I was listening, and I just I have to say though, I have a big problem with a lot of people on here. Um, Especially like people like Cynthia. And
I knew it.
I know this is gonna sound bad, right? It's gonna sound bad. It's gonna piss people off, and that's why I usually keep my mouth to myself. But I mean, people like her, they go around and what the hell happened there? And they cause conflict, and then they try to everywhere they go, right? Yesterday, I went over to Paul's real fast in midlife. Same thing with midlife. What they do is they point out immediately when I walk in the room. Oh, guess what? It's Moose. Oh God, now everything's going to shit. Oh, now Then they start just like deflecting the conversation, and they just you know it's just unneeded bullshit. And they do this everywhere they go. And I have a respect for Cynthia. She's a great orator. She's able to articulate herself, stuff like that. But I see through everybody's bullshit. I see that she wants something. She wants attention. She wants to make a name for herself out here. So she's gonna do those things to try to poke at people and try to get like earlier today she admitted 3 times she needs an enemy. Everybody needs an enemy. She needs someone to fight. She needs someone to save. You know what I mean? And so I'm being clear. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. You guys want to fuck with me? You guys want to play the games on here? I'm not gonna be cordial anymore with people, but I'm going to give respect and I'll listen to them and stuff. But I'm not gonna be nice. I'm not gonna be all cupcakey. Like if you treat me the same like Dennison does and Jeff does, everywhere I go, you both treat me the same. Okay? This is why I respect both of you. This is why I treat you guys both great. This is why I don't care what other people say about you and I accept you for who you are because you accept me for who I am. And you don't try to change me from who I am and you don't try to like
I like
ridicule
who
me
you are.
at every turn. You're not trying to ridicule me or pull me down or try to show somebody else that hey Moose is trying to do something deceptive. Like imagine how exhausting that is for me to go around every day and try and be like I'm not doing anything deceptive. Like I walk into a room and I'm immediately uh like some kind of leper.
Yeah.
But it's what Cynthia said the other day. For a lot of people, I think it's that trickster energy.
Right, but she's a trickster. So what she's doing is she's actually doing the same thing she's like
She's being
pointing
the
out.
trickster by doing that.
Well, we
Exactly.
often,
So,
criticize what we see mirrored from
yeah,
ourselves and others.
projection, projective identification. I saw you went on pause and then he booted you off or something.
Yeah,
Is that because of mid bro?
because
Oh, okay.
of what he said. Because Paul would have let me stay had midlife not said, "Oh, it's Moose."
Well,
This
that's
the
kind of a
second he
credit to Paul then that he didn't exploit that.
well he because he like we have a good rapport. Like I could tell if he throws me in the back, there's a reason why. He doesn't want to get the drama at that point. Like what he wanted to do was focus in on trying to figure out who midlife was. And I mean, he pretty much it, like a fortune teller, right?
I was about to
Very
say like a psychic. Yes, he does that
very
cold read.
very general, very but very abrasive, like different than a fortune teller, very like deep and like
Yeah.
and if I'm there, I interrupt that flow, and
Right.
so he took me out of it because uh, if midlife never knew me, it would be fine. We'd be good cop, bad cop. but because midlife knew me and he thought I was the bad cop, that immediately puts Paul in the good cop spot.
Oh yeah.
So just me
Well, I
appearing
think
as
Paul won him over even without that.
yeah,
All
of
on his own.
course.
Paul was like his own good cop.
But that's because Paul is comfortable in what he does. He has faith in what he does, and he truly stands by what like he believes. Like whether you agree that he's you know right or wrong, it doesn't matter to him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He believes some pretty crazy stuff, but outside of that, most of it I
Most
could
of it's
either
really not
relate
that
to or at
deep.
least affirm. Except
Most
when
of
he
it,
got off into the crazy Christian prophecy stuff, which people say he's not even Christian. So,
I don't think he's Christian.
oh well,
You
he
know,
was today. He was like a Pentecostal preacher.
well, that's the thing. Is like when you put a label on him, uh, like
He was
you wouldn't
saying
find
that.
him at you wouldn't find him at like a Christian church or whatever. You know, like he's got multiple. He went to prison, right? He went to
I
jail.
think he's about to go again.
He did he did a lot of research and stuff, and this is what he's trying to tell other people. Instead of like wasting your time, fucking around like creating a bunch of drama with each other like Flow State does. He's saying, go read some books, go get some perspective, go look at what the elders of yesterday had passed down for us, the wisdom that they passed down, and he even says, like if you look at the Bible, there's going to be things that contradict each other, but there's also lessons in the Bible that you can learn. Like there's it's not a I don't know. I'm not a person that thinks that the Bible is everything. I actually don't. I don't use the Bible. I don't. I'll read it and I'll use passages out of it and I'll try to like find some guidance maybe. But I don't think it's like a word for word. Like this is it. This is that. Everything is.
What do you
Because
think it is?
I think that it was a collection of works that was put together by people that were spiritual and they had observed over time these things that have gone on in the world. They had this feeling inside. They were inspired. Maybe it was inspired by God, right? I'm not saying it wasn't, but the one thing I'm saying is that why was it only 12 or 13 or 50 people that were inspired by God? Why hasn't there been any other people inspired by God to write these great works? Or why were they chosen when nobody else was chosen? You know what I mean? All those pieces to me fall apart. And it's like if Paul could be one of these people or Matthew or Luke or John, then why can't Moose? Like, you know what I mean? Why am I not getting a direct connection to the source, and why am I not able to write these scriptures for you? You know what I mean? And that might. I'm just asking questions at this point. I'm not actually like I don't even
Paul would
care.
say that you could, and that he does, and that he's here to help you do that. Like that's what his goal is, and Talcott too, kind of.
Well, see, that doesn't resonate with. It just doesn't resonate with me. Like me,
Why?
what resonates with me is that like I know that I have a moral compass. I know that if I do something to hurt somebody else, I feel really bad after, right?
Yeah,
Um, that's what I got. That's what I got
yeah,
to go on. I have
yeah,
feeling. And most people are going to say, "Oh, your feelings, your feelings, your feelings." But my gut instinct, my logic and my ability to assess the situation, all those things put together, like it pushes me in the direction that I feel I'm supposed to be going. I don't think that some guy sitting behind a podium, uh, every Sunday trying to tell everybody how to live their life and all this stuff is going to help me. Maybe the fellowship might help me, but I just don't think that. This is the problem I have. This is why I don't fit in anywhere because Talcott wants to be a guru. I'm not looking for a guru.
right.
Nobody's my daddy. I am the daddy. Like the daddy is the spirit or whatever. Like I, I can't go to Paul and be like, dude, you're the man. Like you know everything.
Yeah,
Talcott, you know everything. Like I can't do that. I literally cannot. Like inside, something tells me no. That's just not the way.
Don't you think that's unique to you? That thing that you're talking about, your feelings, so to speak.
Definitely, yeah, it's definitely unique to me, and that's why I have to accept Jeff and Denizen as you are. Like Jeff says he's a Satanist, right? I may not believe he's a Satanist. I may not believe that he has the same beliefs as other people that have like weird rituals and do all kinds of weird stuff. That's not my problem though. And
Well,
none of that shit
technically,
is
it's
my.
just a label. You could always throw it away.
And he does wear antlers.
But Moose,
Yeah,
when
I don't. I
Denizen
should.
said that feeling is unique to you, the feeling, with your personal experience of it, is unique to you. But I think what you're experiencing is not unique. I experience it too. There's other people that have that sense of you're your own daddy, etc. All that. So
No, I mean his version. I think is what
yeah,
he's
his
saying
version is
is
unique
unique.
to him, but the experience itself, there are other people out there like
And
going through that.
is it externally sourced and or externally connected?
Well,
The
it
feeling.
started as an external source, right? Because when you growing up, you're always looking to other people for approval. You look up to your dad. You look up to your mom. Hey,
Mm,
did I do this okay? Did I? Hey, did I ride my bike okay? Oh wow, okay. Did I? Oh, I did my homework good. I got an A on my paper. Oh, thank you. That means I'm doing really good, right, teacher? You look, this is how growing up I would get my validation by other people because
yeah.
other people
The
would tell me how
stars.
smart I am, other people would tell me how great I am, other people would tell me where I'm doing amazing in my life, right? So I'm looking at all these other people to try to please these people because I want to keep hearing all these things, right? So when I first came on YouTube and Lubass was going to keep or whoever was interrupting me the other day, Flow State, I came on YouTube. What was I doing? I was looking for validation from all these people, random people that don't
Oh
know
my
me. And
God,
it
I didn't
felt
know
good.
that.
Do you know how good it felt when I got this validation? For 2 years, I was riding a high. I could do 8 hour streams while I was working 16, 17 hours a day, and I could still do the streams. I could still come on with fire, heat. I could just bring it every single day, right? But I got to a point where it was like I was looking around and I'm like, this external validation, it goes away. I got to go to sleep at night. I got to sleep with myself. I got to be the one that I got to have some kind of internal validation because that external validation, it fades. The taste of ice cream is gone. The feeling of
It
the coffee, it runs out. You know what I mean?
it's a starting point.
Damn.
I think validation is important, but it's a starting point, and the ultimate goal is that individuality. That's what the validation is supposed to be supporting. If it's not doing that, then you
Yeah,
don't need
yeah.
it.
The society though, we were going the whole like, oh, everybody be yourself and it's okay to be yourself.
I
And
still
then
think that's good.
we went from be yourself and everybody can be individuals, and now it's like, no, oh,
No,
you're a straight white male,
no,
oh, you're a man, oh, you're this, oh, you're black, oh, you're red. Like there's so many like
those are not
it's so many
And,
selves.
things. It's like
and only
That's
certain
not where we
groups are
went.
good.
It's not be yourself. This is not self. This is group over individual that you're looking at. These people are not themselves. They're social categories.
okay, I look at
The
them all
be
the same.
yourself thing, I
Is that
think,
our problem?
is still valid. I think everyone still should be yourself. These people are conform. This is conformity you're looking at. This is not like individual liberation.
Is the conformity the cause or the symptom?
I don't know. I'm not a
The,
conformist.
I
The
think I think
psychology
that
of conformity is very alien to me.
the issue comes with preaching, hey, be yourself, while simultaneously trying to shape somebody.
Yeah,
That's the
but I
problem.
think that it's like a Mott and Bailey. They don't really mean be yourself. So they're saying the message, but that's not what they're actually helping these kids to do.
Exactly.
So I guess I don't want people to suddenly not be themselves because they think the left is exploiting the be yourself thing. And because I
It's not
still
just
think yes, be yourself. I think being your own authentic self is the healthiest thing you could do as a person, unless you're an unhealthy person to begin with, in which case, yes, please repress and conform to society.
Most people are unhealthy, though. I
Which
mean,
is what
most
church is for.
Yeah, or schools or
Oh, do you have
wherever
Insta?
people get it from. And nowadays, TV, movies, internet.
Oh, here.
The illusion of choice.
I'm getting my computer up real quick.
Oh,
Oh, so I can share the screen.
yeah, that's what Machine was talking about tonight. Socialization, over socialization.
We're at a point now where there's like 50 flavors of the same thing. All the flavors aren't even real. They're just chemical amalgamations that are slightly changed here and there to
Some of it tastes
activate
good.
certain parts on your tongue, you know? Like it's grape flavored. And then
The
and
strawberry
then
milkshake.
all of them are from the same company too.
Oh yeah.
So like we have this maximization of false choice with no real choice built
What
into
kind
it.
of real? There's like, if you're talking about just flavors, there's natural flavors and like little boutique companies that have like all natural ingredients, and so there's options to the corporate
Very
monopoly
few.
on flavor.
I had to
Very
order. I had to
Go
special
ahead.
order this water called Spindrift because it's like one of the only ones that is just water,
Water and juice.
carbon dioxide, and juice. Yeah, all the other ones they contain. You look at the can and they got chemicals and all this stuff. Uh,
I thought
can you put the
LaCroix
link in
was
the back?
just what link?
That link you asked to share.
Oh, the Insta. Yeah, Neurojack, are you still there? I think I found somebody to share the clip.
There we go. I'm about to hop in the car. I think I'm gonna take the truck today because it's raining.
Oh, all right. Let's. Oh, he wanted my thoughts on it. I hate the shorts. Gross. This is typical Pride. I've seen this for years in Seattle by now. None of this looks new. The puppies are not even a thing anymore. They're kind of
The dog thing really
old
like
school.
it bothers me. It really bothers me. The whole animalistic thing. Like I
Really?
don't know. Yeah,
It's more of a kink, like getting. It's a
I'm fine
fetish
with
of being in the animal mindset.
I'm fine with people doing whatever they want. Like you know what I mean. But like it's hard for me not to have some kind of judgment or some kind of like wait that's off the wall, right? I mean you see it,
Well,
you're
it
like whoa.
is, and that's part of it. If they're going to take it in public, then they should expect some of that. So I don't think your reaction is abnormal at all.
I
I
think
mean
there's a shock element to it.
Well, it's expressing yourself and being who you are, and
I don't
that's
think
where
that's
I part with some of the people in the community, because I think there's limits to that in the public square. There, you can be yourself, but some of it's going to have to be in your house with your door closed.
right.
But
And then
but
you see how many people, right? You see how there was 4 or 5 of them dressed up like dogs together, right? Like if one was doing it, that's him, right? That's like, dude, you wanted to do this, you dressed up, you have your pants on, your shorts or whatever, and everybody looked their own way, right? That would be different. But when they all look the same, it's all group thing.
right, when everybody
Yeah,
has antlers on, then I'm going to have to get rid of mine.
they're not actually being themselves. They're doing everything they can to
That's why I
avoid
said
being
it's
themselves.
conformity. That is exactly why I said it's
So you
conformity.
get like this again, false choice. So you get to pick all these different costumes and colors and affectations in
If you're a
order
puppy, or you
to
could just not
stand
be a
out.
puppy.
Well, puppies aren't the only choice. There's all these ways that you can pretend to be an individual on the surface while conforming to this corporate nightmare at your core and giving up your identity as a human being.
Well, then don't do that. But you're
You
saying
heard
it
it here,
bothers you to
folks.
see other people do it. That's
So no. It did at a point. It does in a way, but only selfishness. Only in that they're taking over my whole environment. So now I have nowhere where I can go be myself because these crazy corporate slaves are everywhere. Other than that, it doesn't bother me at all.
and you're closer to a city too. You said because I'm
Yeah,
thinking, oh, I don't experience that here.
I don't moralize about these things, at all,
You
really.
sure?
Yeah. Not that stuff. I don't care.
Okay.
Again, it's only because I'm being replaced. Like,
So if there was still a place for you where you could find some fulfillment
yeah.
and meaning, and yes, that
So
I think men are going through that.
that's a good point, Jeff. Like, here's the other thing. I wouldn't even care if there was a whole rainbow colored dog gay country. If there was a denizen country or even a denizen peninsula. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got nothing out here.
Now, yeah, I understand a little better. I think the thing that keeps me from feeling that way is I don't have a good sense of where, like, just what my place is relative to other people. So I don't know how small my peninsula is or not. And so I don't have that panic that it might not be big enough because I haven't tested it yet. But I
I feel
am in a
like
situation where it could turn out that way, like the way things are trending. I can tell you right now, in my own field, peer counseling here in Washington State, I have been slowly pushed to the sides where I have to do my own thing kind of outside of the mainstream peer support systems that got created in the state. So that's already happened to me, and some of it was at the state level. But it still doesn't make me feel like there's not a place for me because I know that there's plenty I could do on my own outside of the system.
I'm not really
So
one to. God.
no, good. I was just saying I understand what you're saying. I think I just react to it differently.
I'm not even really one to care if I think about it, right? But it's just because I'm going to do whatever I want to do, and I'll make my country is my
Yeah.
attitude.
So why are you getting so worked up about it if you have that empowerment?
Well, I don't think I'm so worked up about it. I think that's something that some people like to say about me because I
Um,
criticize things that are important to them. The way
well,
it
just
feels,
like tonight, you might come across that way to some people. That's what I'm talking about.
yeah, I'm sure I come across that way to a lot of people, and I'll tell them that I'm not worked up, and they can, reconsider how they discern information and assess somebody's worked upness, or they can remain ignorant. But the way I feel about it is I'm in a concentration camp where it's illegal to be like me. And in that concentration camp, I have to find others that are like me. And they know it's illegal to be like how they are, So this is that's how I have to community organize in this system.
Yeah, but that sounds smart. It sounds like you're doing it in a very intelligent way. That's what I'm doing too. I think that's what everybody does. It's just harder for us to
No,
find our
not
people because
everybody.
there's less of us.
Not everybody. There's people who are out there following the rules and happy about it. Those people
Yeah,
have a
but
much easier life.
they're also finding their people easier too because there's more of them.
Sure. Everything's easier. That's my point.
When you're a majority.
Right.
Yeah, that's what the woke would say too. But what's
The
the
woke
worst
are the
thing
majority.
well, they are
That's
here.
the thing.
What is the worst thing about yourself that in the concentration camp you feel like you can't be? Like what are you trying to let out that you you feel like there's going to be consequences for?
Um, there's a better way. You tell people there's a better way. Nothing pisses them off more than that. I found just like at work when we're working on fucking installing routers and switches into a building is the same exact thing as if I criticize capitalism. The same thing.
Oh, I know, I get it.
People just cannot. I don't
So
understand it.
that's the stuff you're talking about. Like that has you feel like a concentration camp. Just
Well,
telling
I mean,
people a different way of doing things that might work better,
I'm
and the
saying, man,
reaction you get from that feels
yeah,
like, yeah, okay, I get it
yeah,
now.
like they try to beat your ass. They take away promotions. You know, they like ridicule you in public, as you've seen people do here when I tell them about
That's the
some of my
tall poppy
thoughts.
syndrome. There's a hostility toward wealth and success, and there's a hostility toward people that are more capable and intelligent. I saw it on a few streams this week. Well, you were there with that what's his face, Traveling Fools. That reaction he had
Yeah,
to, and
yeah,
then there was another panel I think yesterday that that someone else had a similar reaction.
and maybe some of the things that hurt me most as a kid amuse me most as an adult. And I'd say I use for an example people telling me who I am on the internet when I clearly go out of my way to keep my identity secret. But they know everything about me.
Oh yeah,
How many women I've slept with, how much money I make, whether or not I live alone, what my IQ is, what accomplishments I've made financially, economically, professionally, everything about me. Everything.
they might be cold reading you like Paul
Badly.
does. Yeah, it is
Badly.
bad. Like Paul wasn't that great at it either.
Like they never get anything correct.
Yeah, I know they're making inferences. They're working with limited data and impressions, and they're making very quick inferences using whatever little heuristic that they develop for
And so
themselves.
sure about it too.
Oh, what an honor. Hello, sir. So are you saying that you are not quite yourself right now either? We're not getting the real Reddington? Because there's a camera on? Oh, you don't have a camera, so I guess it doesn't count.
I don't have a camera, but I have a microphone.
But you are, like, in the eye of the world right now. Does that influence how you show up?
It's
Or do you feel like you
similar
could be
to how
yourself?
Denison's saying he's in a concentration camp where he can't be his full self,
You feel that way too?
more or less.
Well, what do you want to be that has you feeling that way? Like when I hear people say that, I'm like, God, like thinking they can't be a serial killer, but for this oppressive society, I feel like a concentration because I can't do this thing because people are gonna think it's so horrible. That's what would make me feel concentration campy if there was something so taboo and extreme.
Well, it's not that for sure.
Is it like what Dennis described?
Just having different opinions than family members and etc.
Do you have people that share your opinions that you can hang out with?
Uh, no, not really. Maybe one, but
Oh.
not face to face.
So that is part of the issue is other people get a kind of affirmation and validation and mirroring from people like themselves and so they can form community and develop and grow as an individual from that, etc. And if you can't find that or if we can't find that, we don't get that. And so it holds us back. So I think it's people needing that and knowing where to find it. Like we need the same things all these other groups need. We just need to know where to find our version of it.
like I kind of agree. Like we do need some level of it, but as time passes, is like, what's the use?
Because it alleviates the stuff that you're both feeling right now. And it helps your mental health level go up just a bit. And it gives you that support you need to move forward instead of just stay in this kind of stalemate with society.
I think just accepting things as they are already helps with mentally.
Yeah, it can. I guess it's the hopelessness, because for me, it's all about hope. Like I find hope is such a crucial factor for mental health, and that kind of hopelessness makes me think, well, if you at least add hope to that, that opens up like so many new doors where they can take this feeling of disaffection and angst or whatever and use it to go forward to some stage that's more harmonious with who you are. Because the state you're in now sounds hopeless and with no path forward. And so I think just giving some little bit of hope with maybe a slight path forward would be better, more beneficial.
I wouldn't say it's hopeless. Maybe I'm just not expressing it very well, but
And
there's
it's the sum impression of you and Denizen and Moose and several other people that kind of had these conversations over the past few days. So it's not even just you in particular, but there's a general sense of like despair about the system and one's ability to fit in and find one's place in the world and be an individual at the same time. And I think that we're at a starting point where there is a path forward from here, and a lot of people present it as like they're at their final destination, and this is how life is going to be from this point forward, and you just have to cope.
maybe for some, but I feel like people want to conform or try to fit in um,
Yeah, so they can have the 5K in
to
the bank account.
they fit in to the shadow and not the real. Like
Yeah.
they since uh, society's so fixed on certain things, it's just not the things that we need to be focused on. So it's like kind of like conforming to a shadow and not the real.
What do you want to be conforming to or focusing on?
I'd rather be working on things that pertain to after this life, after death, after all of this stuff.
Is that because I was gonna say that a lot of like the individualism part of it, it's not really a societal focus. Like that's more of an individual focus. But then what you're describing, why have a society at all if the focus is on a next world? We only need minimal conditions in this world, like monasteries and stuff. And I don't know that that's a realistic societal goal anymore or at this stage in history. But I think for an individual, if that's what they want to focus on, there should be options for individuals to do that.
I agree. It's just I mean,
Like society's not going to give up their mansions and their 5K in the bank account to sit and meditate and focus on the afterlife. I don't think most people are going to do that anymore.
well, no, they're not, because it's like I said, they're just too focused on
Or
this.
the concept of an afterlife is just less relevant than it was. For most secular people, we don't spend a lot of time thinking about afterlife, and so it's hard to remember that for a lot of Christians, their focus is very different from ours. Like we live in the same world, and we think we're talking about the same world, but the Christians are experiencing that world from a completely different orientation.
I understand. I used to be one, so I'm pretty familiar. But
So
About
is it the afterlife in particular and the state of the soul that you would redirect society to, or is it other concerns about the
Well,
hereafter?
it's more or less still the elephant in the room. Everybody dies, so it's not like anything that can't be avoided, or that.
Shout out to Ohio.
Yes, yeah, everybody does die. That is the fact of existence, I guess.
But it's
Do y'all
not like
believe in
at
an
the same.
afterlife?
What's that?
Go ahead.
I forgot.
It's not the same time. It sounded like you were saying.
Who, me or him?
No, him. He was saying
I'm
it's not
having
like it's at the same time or
having a
something like
senior
that.
moment for a second here.
I had the same
Basically,
moment because I forgot to.
basically, obviously, you can't really focus on these kinds of issues collectively, as because mostly death is a individual
Yeah.
event. So, but at the same time, there are patterns. There are things that can be studied to an extent.
What obligation do you think society has toward an individual and his soul? Like the soul of the individual that's going to
Well,
experience the death.
for one thing, is to stop with the religious dogma. I mean, once you study certain things, the religious dogma is just that. It's just dogma. It
But
doesn't really help anyone.
and when I mean society, I'm talking mostly about the United States because that's what I'm familiar with. But it, as far as I know, in the U.S., that the religious dogma is probably as contained as it's ever been.
More or
So
less.
if one thing that society could do to help with your concerns is to limit religious dogma, I think it's doing it. No one's forced to go into a church.
Sorry, I'm quiet. I'm just watching body cam footage of Carolina.
Watching who?
Body cam footage of Carolina getting arrested.
Who?
She's in the community that I'm in on YouTube.
Oh, okay. A person. What is your orientation, Reddington? I'm trying to figure out what your concerns are. Your spiritual concerns.
I'm anti-theist for the most part, but I'm not
Oh,
atheist.
okay.
If you want to
Okay.
put labels on it.
All right. Then yeah, I didn't know that. I was assuming a different position from you. So, do
Oh,
you think society is more theistic and it needs to be less theistic?
yeah, it should be, but at the same time, it can't do the pendulum swing and say and have it be fully atheist either.
Yeah. Uh, uh, see, I have a bunch of thoughts and they're not all coming together at once. I think we're definitely not a theocracy. I think with our separation of church and state, we're way away from the
Right,
theocracy
that would
side. So
be,
I think
yeah,
the
that would
theism,
not be
where are
good.
you seeing the theism in our government?
I wasn't really talking about government per se. It was just more of
Oh,
the
society.
culture,
Well,
the
that's different
society.
because we are a pluralistic society. And so all the religions get to play around in it. And we have free speech, so they all get to kind of put their dogma out there. So it like in liberalism, what the approach would be to educate, just sift through all the ideas, critically examine them, determine which ones have value for us, etc. And that's the process that I believe we're still in. We're doing it now. So I don't know what outside of that the government or society needs to do.
The government or society can't do anything because they're an abscess at this point. The
So they
individual
just
mutants,
stand down.
individual mutants have to stand aside from the system and become self-reliant. And we have to start our own thing again outside of the system.
Yeah, but we're gonna need the system to do that. Like I'm trying to do the same thing, but I still need income. Like I'm
I
gonna
don't
need
care.
the
Oh, yeah, yeah,
system
yeah.
for that to do that.
Oh, yeah. So exploit it the way it's been doing to us. I do speculation. I'm a leech. I make $7,000 while I'm brushing my teeth.
Wow. What's your secret?
I just speculate on stock markets.
Oh, are you parroting the system? Or are you being serious?
I'm both. That's exactly. That's why
Well,
I
then
do what I do.
Okay, then you're the person we need to talk to because you've gotten further than any of us. What have you figured out?
How to do options trading in order to leverage small amounts of money into big payoffs.
Is that
Simply
legal?
by speculating on the direction of the market. It's 100% legal.
Is that something anybody can learn?
I don't know. You know, I have a very high IQ. I'm very focused. I'm very disciplined. I'm one of the
Is it
most
something any
accomplished
mutant
people.
can learn?
Yes.
Because this is useful. See, that's that hope I'm talking about. Now there are options out there,
Yeah, Robin Hood
non-traditional
changed
options.
the game.
Huh?
Robin Hood changed the game. The biggest step for me was just a moral question. Like, again, I have been trying to fight and resist the system my whole life. Try to make it a better place by at least upholding the values that I believe in. But all that ever did was leave me holding the bag, the empty sack, while everybody else took advantage of cheating and corruption that is built in inherently to the system. The nepotism.
So you
Yep.
decided to make it work for you, and you got over
Yeah.
your moral scruples.
Yes. If I became less scrupulous, right? I think would be the correct way to put it. And I set a goal for myself to learn how to make money from the stock market as my primary source of income within 5 years. And I did it within 2.5. Now, technically, part of the reason why I met that goal is because I got fired. So I was making a lot less money in the stock market than I was in IT. Because I didn't have a full-time IT job. But eventually, I exceeded what I was making annually at my IT job in just a single month in trading stocks.
But you were
I
able to
also-
support yourself and make a living.
Yes, and I also attacked my lifestyle from the opposite end. So I got rid of the, big impressive house, the expensive car, all the trims and trappings and services and this and that.
That's pretty
I
damn
admit-
impressive.
I downsized my life significantly and became much, much happier. Not having to work for a corporation anymore, that was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
That changed my
sure.
life.
That is freedom. Like financial freedom is freedom, especially for us. So mutants we can make it. There are ways. There are paths for us.
Yeah,
Because
and
one thing we struggle with is establishing ourselves. Like, how do we keep ourselves alive and thriving?
it depends how you're motivated, A lot of the things in this that are available in this society, I'm not motivated by. I think they're sick, disgusting, boring, uninteresting. So you gotta find your niche.
Yeah, that your attention tunnel thing. But the problem is when you find it, like if that's where your niche is, hooking that up to society, like finding where in society that fits, that has a place.
Yeah, so I'm effectively retired and a speculator.
You're just waiting for the trad wife? I mean, not wife, but what, trad mistress?
No, I don't want a woman in my life. If it happens, it happens.
Oh, I thought you wanted a... Well, the other day you were
That's
describing your dream.
it's
You
my
don't have to repeat it because I want to keep my stream.
what it'd be bad for your stream if I say it again.
Yeah, I don't it's already captured once. So. But you want the kind of girl you would pay, but not you don't have to pay.
No. No.
What are there successful misfits out there? That's what we need. We need those of you that have made it to help the rest of us figure out how to get there.
I try to do that every day, you know.
Oh, I've never had this conversation before. Ever. This is exactly what I need from someone.
Holy shit. It's fucking wet outside.
Moose. Wait, hang on. Don't. Wow.
It's fucking wet.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Are you at work? Or look at that.
I'm fucking
I love
soaked.
that helmet, that visor.
I am soaked. Can you
Can't
hear me?
cycle in that.
Yeah.
We can hear
They're
you.
gonna take the truck.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I said I was going to take the truck, but then the woman, she is like, oh, I have to do something at
I
9
knew it.
o'clock.
The
And I
woman.
said, you know what? Fuck it. I said, give me my fucking
I
bike.
knew that was gonna be the answer.
Yeah. You know why? Because fuck them, that's why. Fuck them. You got to do you, and you got to take care of your own shit. You got to take care of yourself and not worry about anybody else and what they're fucking doing. If she wants the fucking truck, have the truck. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I got to get into work. I got to go change my pants, and hopefully I'll find some socks or something. Love you guys.
Okay,
Peace.
keep being cool.
Safe journeys.
Thank you. I made it already, so we're good. Have a good day, guys.
Take care.
Peace.
Have a good day, Moose. Wow, what an adventure. He just doesn't want to be suffocated. Yeah, I get that. Oh, hang on.
I don't want to be drained either, to where you're like not even there.
Yeah, that's normal. You want a normal life. A normal, healthy life. That for who you are.
So I'm trying to reframe my thinking to where like stuff that happens to me over and over again isn't how I view the world, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I really do think that America has a crisis with women.
With women?
Yeah. At the very least, let's let me try to make it as objective as possible and say men and women aren't getting along right now. And so from my chauvinist perspective, that's mostly women's fault.
Okay.
Not fault, but
yeah,
they're going through a change right now.
they're getting empowered.
Empowered, yeah, in quotation marks.
I mean, it could be their fault, but I don't know how
Fault was
useful
wrong.
blame
Fault-
is.
Fault
even
was
if that
wrong,
is the
yeah.
case.
Yeah, fault was wrong. That was unhelpful. It's their burden currently.
Well, I hope they get it figured out. And if there's anything I could do to help, please let me know, because it's affected me too. No, I don't. My answer is just I stay away from to the extent that I can. I had cut women completely out of my life for over a year, a couple of years ago, and my mental health was never better.
Yeah. And I have female friends now, but I try to stay away from getting into relationships.
Yeah, I limit my exposure for sure, even on these panels. Or if there's panels with a lot of female energy on it, I don't go.
Yeah. It depends on the female energy as well.
For sure.
But yeah, there's these women out there that clearly hate men and they can never admit that. So it has to be the man's fault. And yeah, you can't even, I don't even know what it would take to get along with those women. Like what kind of man it is that's acceptable to them.
Well, you don't even have to worry about it.
Just being myself for 15, 20 minutes cause a fight.
But what I've noticed that with other men too, and Denizen, you've seen it too. Now that I'm thinking about it, people are threatened by intelligence, and they're threatened by males with strong emotions, and men and women both. I have seen on these streams react to that. It's threatening to people. It sets off at like a defensive reaction.
Yep.
So I think just being intelligent and passionate or intense
IQ and EQ
and being
I
around
think
women
are,
is enough. I don't think it takes
yeah.
any more ingredients than that.
Damn. Well, fuck it.
Competence, intelligence, masculine energy. That's it. That's all it takes. Like, because you're right. It's stigmatization. Gays went through this. All it took for gay people was to be slightly effeminate. A gay person did not have to do much to generate hostility. They just had to show up and just be slightly gay, and that was all it took. All you have to do now is be slightly male or slightly a little more intelligent than other people, and that's all it takes.
Well, a lot of it was from religion being antithetical to that position. So
With the gays,
Ooh.
I think that's happening with
thousands of
feminism. I
years
think
of
feminism is playing that role toward men.
And smart people too.
Yeah,
Right?
I've watched
but the
gifted
church won
programs.
and the intelligent people got, what is it? What did they call it?
Oh,
They
that
like
church.
burned them or hung them or something.
Well, they're getting canceled so that they can't make livings for themselves,
or at the
and
very least
survive.
excommunicated.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. There's a new religion in town, and men are getting excommunicated from society because they're slowly getting the institutions. I've seen it here in Washington State.
Faith is antithetical to reason, so it's like oil and water. It doesn't mix.
Yeah, I know. I went over the epistemological standards they were using, and it's social science standards. It's not science standards. And when you submit their claims to the rigor of science, they fall apart. And so that's why they can't subject it to science. They have to use these social science methodologies to give it enough credibility to get it past the government.
Because a lot of them are running on experience along with the faith because they had experiences, religious experiences, at least in some denominations of Christianity, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not really familiar with other religions, but there could be some parallels.
And all of that's fine in America. I think all that's allowed. It's when you use that to encroach on my freedoms that we have a problem. And that's what I see. That's what even in my lifetime, I grew up in a predominantly Christian society. I don't think the Christians overreach that much. They really don't. They never told me how to talk. They might try to get a few books taken out of the library or something like that, but they really weren't that authoritarian, even when they had the levers of power. Not so with the feminists or the woke or whatever you want to call it, this new social justice religion. I think it's they're moving from liberalism to authoritarianism as they gain power. They're no longer using the liberal approach of dialogue and all that stuff. They're trying to impose on the rest of us, and that's authoritarianism.
Tactics have changed. We're not in the dark ages anymore. But like I was saying on TML stream, they want they want the theocracy. They're promised a theocracy. So
Which group?
Who's they?
uh, Christians, Jesus coming back and setting up a theocratic dictatorship.
Are most Christians not aware of that, or are just not talking about it? I hear it from the fringe right, and that's about the only place I hear this from.
I'm sure they're aware of it on some level, but they don't really connect the dots all that well. It just depends on how much they read scriptures or not.
Because the Christians I know growing up, both Protestant and Catholic, was like, the end of the world's going to happen, but they didn't have to do anything like that. God was going to do all that. All they had to do was get right with God or Jesus as an individual and do good for their community. So there wasn't anything. They weren't like trying to install a theocracy or something. They weren't really that focused
Mainstream Christianity isn't about that. The orthos
Yeah, but they're I
and
don't
the
take them
Catholics, the
seriously.
extreme
That's
Catholics.
like worrying about the God hates fags people. Like, they're never going to have societal power. Why do people worry about these ortho bros?
Oh, I don't.
Okay. A lot of people seem to.
They ruin a lot of YouTube streams because they're fucking stupid. But
Oh, because
that-
YouTube's not right. It's a touch grab
It's
thing.
mainly
That's what
I've
it
only
is.
ever seen
And like what ethno-nationalists, they were talking today about the ethno-nationalists did this, and I'm like, all 8 of them, they're never going to have power. Why are you so spending 3 hours talking about the ethno-nationalists? I think it's good content. I think it's good stories. It's a good story to tell. But
I
don't
couldn't
think
find 3 hours worth of shit to say about an ortho.
Well, go watch TML's
Queer.
earlier today.
Over socialization in general, that's an interesting topic.
I think you need it for a lot.
For
of
some
You need
people,
some form
yeah.
of socialization. Or we'd all
Would
be
you think the
animals.
ortho bros would be in that group too, wouldn't they? They'd be at the
Overly
top of the list.
socialized?
That need to be overly
I
socialized.
think the level of socialization should be proportioned to the intensity of the instincts that the socialization is designed to civilize. So maybe the ortho bros are just more savage than the rest of us, and they need this heavy level of socialization.
Yes. Yeah, no, if without God, they don't think there's any reason for morality. They tell you that.
They're Neanderthals.
And they're apologists and they're academics, the smartest, most capable people in their fields will make arguments that that's why you need God, is because otherwise we'll just, grape and self-delete.
Maybe they're telling the truth.
That's not just ortho bros. That's a lot of denominations.
Like we'd be raping and
like
murdering
some kind
everybody,
of-
but for this beautiful spiritual religion.
It's kind
Still
of
applies, Red, I think. They also need the over-socialization. The orthos are at the top of the list. The religious are right there in that same box.
So that we should be very careful about.
they
Absolutely,
do
yeah.
with it.
Well, yeah, careful before you go getting rid of their gods.
Right.
They need
let them have it and just
Let
keep
them
it
have their
contained like
toys.
we do now.
They project a kind of moral nihilism on everyone else with that kind of apologetics, if you want to quote it like that, or use that term anyway.
Yeah, and they tell on themselves too, because they're looking for meaning.
Right.
Because I was kind of like that way when I was a Christian.
They're also angry and insecure too.
Yes, I was about to say I have an actual ortho friend. He goes to real life ortho church. He's his whole attitude toward life is like wonder and amazement and how miraculous the creation is. And we have deep philosophical conversations. He's very spiritual. I don't get any of that from these ortho bros.
Yeah.
That's why it's kind of a LARP, I think, at least.
Yeah, it's the internet version. This is the internet version of everything. And none of it's the real world, but if people only spend their time on the internet, it's like Las Vegas, and this is the casinos. They have no windows, and The malls are inside, the theaters, the restaurants, everything you do is inside of one of these closed casinos. That's what this is. And if you never go outside, you're going to think the casino version of everything is the real version.
The real versus the shadow.
The outside world, the touch grass version. I think
Just
if for
on
no
a grand
whichever
scale.
one's real or not, for no other reason, I think you need both just to have a point of contrast. Even if the real world version is fake, you have to have more than just this to form your reality.
I find that the people in the real world are too programmed by this one to know that, and for there to be any distinguishable difference between the outcomes.
Most people I encounter in the real world hardly even spend time on it. They're so disconnected from the internet this way. And I learned that
Are
off
you
of Twitter
rural?
too. Twitter is not reality.
Are you rural?
Mid-sized city.
But close to it.
Yeah, there's like rural on one side of me and then Seattle on the other side of me. So we're kind of in the middle of rural and city.
Where most of your friends come from?
Oh, I don't have any in-person friends here. All my friends are in this world, and that's part of the problem. I'm trying to create a real person counterpart to this, and I struggle with the same shit you do. Especially in this culture, because every time I show up on the scene, I am the conservative white guy from the South. They cannot get past. That drives every interaction with people up here in their minds. No matter how gay, autistic, whatever I am, they cannot.
I was about to say no.
That's the dominant
Despite all
image.
the Satanist things and whatnot.
Doesn't help. Because on the like the woke hierarchy or whatever the identity points you get, white and male and religious still cancels out all of the other. It still has more. They're not all equal. Identities are not all equally ranked, and some have more power, like negative stigma,
Yeah.
and positive power than others. Like if you're a black, trans, non-binary, furry, whatever, you probably have way more clout than a white male from the South. But if you have all these other identities along with white man from the South, it's still going to cancel out all those other little identities. It has more like fear power for them. How do you get your coffee, nude? Is it Sanka? Instant coffee? Oh, I'm not. I'm one of those people that can't be. I'm too aware of the process. I can't be hypnotized. People have tried. I would love if somebody could hypnotize me. I need a break. Of course you would. Matcha in the woods. Well, if you ever come out of the woods and find yourself in Washington State, I'll go for a Starbucks with you. Actually, there's better places than Starbucks. Did everybody leave?
No, I'm here.
Okay. Well, we can wrap up if y'all want.
I'm cool. I'm pretty high and a little drunk though.
Okay. Oh my god, I couldn't tell. What do you like sober?
Same.
You're like one of the most mellow drunks.
I'm not a drunk.
Oh.
I might have to. I might talk more, under some circumstances.
Yep.
Well, it's been a nice conversation, so thank you for that. Whatever you were drinking.
I've been forcing myself to drink lately, to incorporate alcohol into my diet. I was
How's that
reading
going?
about some of the health benefits, and I think for me personally, it might be accurate. Like if I have a few glasses of wine every week or a couple of beers.
I used to do the wine thing, the red wine.
Man, I'd rather have whiskey.
Depends what mood I'm in. Whiskey's a mood for me.
Well, it looks like we're coming to a close. Not even whiskey is provoking conversation. Yeah, I think I'll wrap up. I have something to do in the morning anyway, and then I'll do a stream sometime tomorrow. Oh, there's that Trump debate too.
Right. Unfortunately, the TML stream put me past the time where I could get to sleep and be okay. Now, if I go to
Oh
sleep now,
no.
I'm screwed.
Are you stuck with it, or is there anything you can do? You just have to reset.
Now I'll just have to take a caffeine pill or something.
Well,
I don't like coffee, so
selfishly, I'm glad you got to hang out tonight. So I hope you recover. Denizen, same for you. Moose, if you're there. Also,
Peace out, gentlemen.
easy.
there. See y'all later. I guess so. Yeah, he's probably at work. All right, yes, April, much love. Thank you, everybody. This is a good conversation. It really has me encouraged about the possibilities for men and the state of men. I've said this so many times, but it keeps conversations like this keep driving it home. This is very similar to the situation that gay people found themselves in the 70s and 80s, and we had to find each other, come together. The thing that helped us is we had the gay bars. So you didn't have to go look for people. Like, you were all in one place, and you could show up and then make the connections you need to make, etc. And I've always said, with things like autism and neurodivergence, like having coffee shops for misfits and weird, like non-mainstream people, would help with this kind of social organizing, political organizing, whatever we want to call it. But now that we have this, I think this is another opportunity similar to the gays and the gay bars and coffee shop culture and all that. But it's a certain group that shares similar characteristics and values that's under attack, under persecution, coming together to strategize and get solidarity and support and the space to. Here, I'm gonna do that Calvino quote that I like so much. That space to grow and be themselves and live and thrive that everybody else in the country gets. Here we go. Take a look at this. This is what we need. The inferno of the living is not something that will be. If there is one, it is what is already here. The inferno where we live every day that we get out of the way. That we form by being together. There are two ways to escape suffering it. The first is easy for many. Accept the inferno and become such a part of it that you can no longer see it. This is the group that everybody complains about. The sheep, the people that bought the lie, that are part of the system, etc. That's their way of escaping the inferno. They become part of it. The second is risky and demands constant vigilance and apprehension. Seek and learn to recognize who and what in the midst of inferno are not inferno, and then make them endure. Give them space. This is what we need. This is what this channel is hoping to be part of. That space to endure So I'll leave you with that, and I will see everyone tomorrow. Take care. Get the music going. Hey, rock out.